it looks like Paulo Costa will be fighting nowhere near at middleweight, despite the fight against Marvin Vettori this Saturday being contracted for 185 pounds. Hello everyone, my name is Danny Segura, and in this video, we're going to talk about the latest with Borrachinha as he's set to make his return against Marvin Vettori at UFC Vegas 41. All right, so let's get into it. Pretty much the details came out of the media day in Vegas on Wednesday afternoon. Turns out Paulo Costa was talking to the reporters. My colleague John Morgan asked Paulo Costa, so we heard that, there might be some hiccups in the fight, that people are saying that you're not going to make weight. Is this true? And Paulo Costa had no issue admitting that, yes, he was not going to make 185 pounds, not going to be anywhere close. And in fact, 48 hours before weigh-ins, he is weighing 211 pounds. He was very calm and very cool about saying this, wasn't really apologetic, didn't try to hide it, as some fighters also do during fight week and say, no, this weight cut's perfect, everything's going fine, and then come Friday, they miss weight. Nope. He already said he's not going to make it, and that the fight could happen if Marvin Vettori is willing to take the bout at a catchweight. So he did offer that he'd be down to go as low as 195 pounds. It seems that's the cutoff. I don't know if he can go any lower. We also heard with some reports that came out, I believe Brett Okamoto from ESPN spoke to Ali Abdelaziz, and they had heard that maybe 198 might be the new catchweight. So definitely 185 pounds, nowhere close. Nowhere close. It's going to either be the old Pride middleweight, which was 195, or somewhere closer to the light heavyweight range. So those are basically the details on what's going on with Paulo Costa, just really a couple of days before his fight. All right, so you may wonder, what does this mean, right? What's going on here? What's going on in the career of Paulo Costa? Well, there's two theories or two big sort of possibilities of what could be going on with Goro Borrachinha. Number one is that this is just a troll job, which is, it would be weird. It wouldn't be the most likely scenario, I think, but I wouldn't discard it. He's been a troll. I think the whole thing with, I drank 2 bottles of wine before my fight with Israel Adesanya, and that's why I didn't perform, and all these other excuses that really almost surpassed the excuses that Deontay Wilder was making after his first loss to Tyson Fury. Really, it just at this point, it seems like terrible excuses, but at the same time, it does seem a little bit of a troll job. So I wouldn't be extremely shocked if he were to make weight and this was just to mess with Marvin Vettori, who's all riled up and, kind of upset. Not to like a big degree, but still, he's definitely talking about it, and it's definitely in his mind that Borrachinha is not going to make the weight. So that could be a troll job. But probably the most unlikely scenario, but you can't absolutely discard it, given, who he's mentored by with Eric Albarracin, some of the previous sort of mind games that he's played before with the excuses, and also the type of opponent that he's facing. If anybody, you can get pissed off, if you can get anybody to sort of not fight cool and kind of mess with their head, I think Marvin Vettori would be on top of the list at 185 pounds, certainly a very passionate figure. The second is simply the reality, exactly what Paulo Costa is saying. No lies there, saying that, look, I can't make the weight, and this is just simply not going to happen. And if that's the case, that's just truly one of the most unprofessional things we've ever seen in mixed martial arts in the UFC. I mean, the next step to that is like sucker punching somebody at weigh-ins, or, right after the fight, as Paul Daly infamously did against Josh Koscheck. But this is certainly not up there because it's not assault or anything like that. But I mean, it's fairly close to it as far as the level of unprofessionalism. I mean, you signed the contract for 185 pounds. This shouldn't be a surprise that you got to make the weight. You've been fighting your whole career at that weight. You haven't fought in 13 months. And oh, by the way, you're not trying to make the weight. You're not saying, no, I got this, everything's going to be okay, I'm going to make the weight, and then just try to come as close to 185 pounds as possible on Friday. No, he's already admitting, like, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to make the weight. And that is an issue. that is problematic. Obviously, the level of unprofessionalism, as I said, it's huge, but also it's just a bad sign about sort of the trajectory of Bohachinha's career, right? He hasn't fought in 13 months. He had some sort of beef or issues with the UFC. If you guys don't remember, he had tweeted some stuff about fighter pay, about YouTubers making more than the UFC guys. Dana White also commented on the matter throughout some media scrums while all that was happening, and kind of took a couple of jabs at Paulo Costa. So remember, he was scheduled to fight Jared Cannonier, and then the UFC announces it, and then he says, nope, I've never signed no contract. A little bit more of a rift there. And so yeah, his relationship with the UFC hasn't been the best in this latest period following his defeat to Israel Adesanya. He was also criticized by UFC President Dana White about the performance itself, right? Because it was a fight that was labeled as, probably the most exciting fight that you can book at 185 pounds, a championship bout, this and that, a very finessed, accurate striker versus a brute force, somebody that just has a ridiculous knockout power. And that just simply didn't happen. So you add all that, the bad, or the shaky, should I say, relationship with the UFC, an inactivity of 13 months. Last time he fought was in September of 2020. Also, you're coming off a terrible performance. It's not that he put on a fight of the night and kind of went out on his shield and put out an amazing performance. That didn't happen. And then on top of that, let's not forget, and I think people are overlooking this, that was his first professional defeat. And we know that a lot of people that have suffered losses throughout the way, they kind of know how to bounce back and recover from that. But that first defeat, everybody's always keeping a close eye on how you bounce back, on how you react to that defeat, because it tells you a lot about the fighter and tells you a lot about where the fighter is going and is going to move forward, or if he or she is going to move, he or she going to move forward after that. So keeping in mind that it's his first defeat, shaky relationship with the UFC, terrible performance, inactivity, and all of a sudden you're walking around at 211 pounds 48 hours before your fight and already unapologetically admitting that you're not going to make the weight. And it seems that you're not going to even try. You're just going to, hope Marvin Vettori takes the fight at 195 pounds. And not only that, but kind of just put the ball in his court and be like, look, this fight can happen if you want it. Kind of making it seem like he's a chicken if he wouldn't accept the fight. So all in all, it's a bad sign, because look, if it's a troll job and you're actually going to make the weight, I think it's still not the best tactic, because look, I don't think the UFC would like chatter about potentially their main event being in jeopardy, potentially, being in sort of a canceling ground, if Marvin Vettori weren't down to take the fight. And that's certainly, you can't blame Marvin Vettori for that. And also coming off two bad cards, with the two previous Vegas cards that we've seen, I don't think the UFC would want that kind of chatter before the fight, right? Even if it's a troll job. And if it's not, I don't think the UFC would want a guy that signed a contract to fight at 185 pounds and is showing up already saying like, look, this is not going to happen. It's either going to be a catch weight or bust. So either way, I don't think this is good. Again, the troll job, probably the least likely scenario. I think he's being real when he says he's not going to make the weight. But all in all, just alarming things from Bohachinha. And it's not like he's 24 years old and, maybe he can go through a rough patch in his career, get his shit together, and then be back on route. He's 30, man. This is his prime. This is when he should be making weight. This is when he should be fighting, and defeating elite guys. This is when he should be main eventing, cards with no problem. But yet here we are in a difficult circumstance, coming off that terrible fight against Israel Adesanya. Just red flags all over the place. The only good news that, has come out of this is that Marvin Vettori is a complete savage. He said it. Look, if I got to fight him at light heavyweight, I will. Honestly, I don't care at what weight he shows up. It just sucks that I'm here suffering, trying to make the weight, being a professional, and he's not, So definitely understandable, but the man is down to fight regardless of whatever weight Bohachinha comes in. So that's the good news, that at least that fight's not going to get canceled. It seems for now. We'll see come weigh in. We'll see in the next 48 hours how things unfold. Obviously, he can have change his mind, from here to then. But for now, it seems that that fight's going to remain intact. Whether Bohachinha gets close to 185 pounds or not, it's going to happen. So I guess after all, we are going to see a fight between two elite fighters. Whether it's happening at 185 pounds or not, obviously that seems unlikely at this point. But at least that fight still stands. All right, so let me know what you think about the latest on Bohachinha, and if you're as alarmed as I am, because this is not good whatsoever. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this inability to make 185 pounds for his return. Also, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.